You're listening to Jazz on the JNote. You're listening to on the JNote. You're listening to on the JNote. Hey, hey.
Welcome to Jazz on the JNote. I am your host, Stephanie Jeannot. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another non-stop music flow of Jazz on the JNote. So as we continue in our celebration of jazz, I just want to give a birthday shout out to bassist John Simmons, who was born on this date in 1918, and also Marcus Miller, who was celebrating his birthday today. So we have a special guest, violinist Richmond Punch. What's up, Richmond?
Hey, what's going on, Stephanie? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. So, how have you been spending your time with this quarantine? Is it like affecting you as far as your musicianship and your career and everything?
Well, it's been a really good time. You know, it's one of those things where you have to reevaluate your creativity, your artistry, everything in life. It's one of those times when you have to overcome, and I've tried to put all that together to the best of my ability and become a better artist, more creative, I'm doing even more in some regards with the internet and with what's possible through networking than ever before.
Okay, I've seen like some sites like Stage It and everything. And have you been doing virtual concerts?
Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, a week ago I did a fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Atlanta. I'm a former little brother in their program, and I was able to do a performance for them. But also in general, I've done tons of performances on Facebook and Instagram. I did back when they first started the clapping at 8 o'clock for healthcare workers. I actually went outside and performed in a swimming pool area where the balcony had like 400 balconies.
Okay.
In Atlanta, and I did that performance as well.
Oh, cool. And how did that go for you?
It was really well. Actually, some of the video content from that is still being made. I did the brand new song by Dua Lipa called "Don't Start Now."
Okay.
And I'm still getting video content from that. It was very well received, especially like Whitney Houston, "I Have Nothing," and that Dua Lipa song, "Don't Start Now." They're still it's still a fresh thing to everyone right now.
Okay, because one thing I noticed, like when you do like live concerts, sometimes the sound is a little, either might be distorted or like, how sound travels. So like you might be playing at one speed and it comes in a different sound wave. So like you didn't have no problems like that, right?
I would say definitely in the beginning, for sure I had that, but quickly I learned, that I was like, well, if I'm gonna attempt to do this, I need to talk to sound experts, so I went back and re-honed my mixer, rechecked my settings. There's for the Zooms, there's different settings for each one. Zoom, Facebook, Instagram, StreamYard, and Restream, and all those different things.
Okay.
And you have to know the settings for each one. Just yesterday, last night, I actually learned that pre-recording videos can be a much better way to get across like a Restream or StreamYard or a Zoom. If you pre-record the music thing and show it live, it can still be, just as effective, but keep that clean sound.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I was always wondering that, like, sometimes, like, I did we had a Zoom open mic, and, like, we're all playing, but everybody was at a different place, which is kind of weird, but... Mm-hmm. But I'm glad to know that you can actually tweak it to make it specific for each platform.
Yes, yes.
So, you play the violin. Was that your first instrument?
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. I actually started on piano, but basically, by the grace of God, I was placed in the right school. My mom was a single parent. I was placed in public Montessori school, and they actually had us on piano at first. Basically, like I was 4 years old.
Wow, really?
Yes, it was. Yeah, very early they started, and one of the few, what we need, our music programs. But within a year later, they introduced us to a whole orchestra and said pick one. And actually, they didn't even tell the parents really. So they just introduced the kids, and we're there. And I picked, kind of like you pick candy or something. And I picked the violin, and I started going crazy.
Wow. Okay. So, what draws you to the violin?
It's something about the sound. How it relates to the voice. If a lot of times when I'm playing on day to day, and because I really try to imitate voice, because I play a lot of songs that people know. So when I pick it up, I think of it as, it has the Anita Baker, but then it has the Whitney Houston, but then it has the Mariah Carey. Like all in one, and so those different ranges. So I think it just really appealed to me sound-wise because it was very much like a voice.
Okay. And who inspired you as far as musician-wise? Like, who are you listening to that made you want to play violin, or who do you listen to now that helps you to hone your craft?
Well, from the very beginning, I was blessed. So you're in New York City, and of course, a lot of the most amazing music was in New York City. But basically, I went to high school in Dallas, and I'll talk about New York in 1 second. But I went to high school in Dallas, the Performing Visual Arts High School, where actually a lot of the people that were in my high school, New York made their careers famous in some ways. So I went to the same school like Erykah Badu, Nora Jones was my classmate, Roy Hargrove was the same high school, was a little older than me. And, for a lot of those are the people that I was able to discover their music, while growing up. As well as in high school, I got my first jazz CDs, which was like Ella Fitzgerald and like Duke Ellington, like together. And then like Branford Marsalis. And, I've spent some of what they were doing, I really didn't know what it was. But in high school, I took jazz improvisation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was life changing. And but the reason I wanted to really focus on New York is because I did go. I was able to attend a Juilliard school, and where I received my bachelor's degree in music performance, and then that was followed by my master's degree in music performance from Yale University. So I very much have a love for New York City. For everything that it does for careers. And my roommate went to Marsalis. So I was actually able to go to Wynn Marsalis' apartment. And kind of, he would have jam sessions or, kind of little training sessions, jams. And I went and, I was really able to explore,
Okay, that's good to hear. So, and you also write songs, so like how is that? Like I have a couple of your songs. Tell us about the song Finally.
Oh, sure. So my biggest thing in music is like people feeling my music, being able to move to it, whether it's slow or up tempo.
Okay.
But just that I can convey a tangible message to make people not only feel it, but actually move to whatever beat is happening. So that a violin, known for making people calm and putting them to sleep, but also can make you like spring up and like go run 5 miles. That's what violin is to me. So Finally actually was one, it does have that up tempo, and two, it's like finally, it's like it was a statement musically career wise in 2017. So it's like finally I am able to do this, and understand what I want to convey in composition. Finally, I want my career to grow and blossom and everything like that.
That's awesome to hear. So we're going to play your song, Finally. Come back and talk some more, and hopefully we'll get you to play live. Does that sound cool?
Yes, that sounds awesome.
All right, we'll be right back.
English Connection Media.
old-fashioned and positive energy. You are a distraction from the world around me. You stand out from the crowd and love me as I am. I'm imperfect in every way, but still you hold my hand. I could be weighed down by life, but then I look into your eyes and experience pockets of joy, because you are that boy. You are the one that I'm loving, makes me feel wonderful. I love who you are. You bring satisfaction by just being in my life. You always ask me how I am, and you're always giving your time. You show you care when you call and text me every minute. And I'm so addicted to you, like a cup with coffee in it. I could be weighed down by life, but then I look into your eyes and experience pockets of joy, because you're that boy. You are the one that I'm loving, makes me feel wonderful. I love who you I could be weighed down by life, but then I look into your eyes and experience buckets of joy, because you are that boy. You are the one that I'm loving, makes me feel wonderful. I love who you are. I could be weighed down by life, but then I look into your eyes and experience pockets of joy, because you are that boy. You are the one that I'm loving, makes me feel wonderful. I love who you are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Da, 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 da.
Thank you so much for taking your time to tune into today's episode of Jazz on the JNote, which airs each and every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the English Connection Media with your host, Stephanie Jeannot. And today we have a special guest, violinist Richmond Punch. So Richmond, when I first started this show, it was while I was trying to complete my thesis, my thesis topic was jazz, identity, and racism, because jazz is very political. So what is jazz, in your opinion?
Wow, I feel like jazz is very much music written on improvisation, but also music written for the people. Music that is creativity, defines the times the dance moves, the times, the community, the politics of what is going on, the issues.
Okay.
And I feel like very much that's what jazz is.
Okay. Years ago, Medgar Evers was murdered today. This is the anniversary today, and his main mission in the NAACP was to fight for rights to get us to be able to vote, and jazz gave us that possibility. Is there any jazz musician that stands out that makes you feel, like they did have a message and the message kind of embodied who you are?
Yes. Well, my favorite violinist was I'll mention two people, I guess. My favorite violinist, Stuff Smith, was a violinist from the South that made his career famous in New York while in a time when racism was very, very prevalent in the 1920s and 30s.
Okay.
And he was a one-man show, became a a decently fluent musician, career-wise and gig-wise, in singing and playing the violin. Like, he, besides him needing a bass player, a rhythm section, he was very much gave you the appeal of a one-man band.
Okay.
And he could play the socks off the violin, and he could sing, and he said just, and he always, the way he presented himself, the way he always dressed, a suit or the tuxedo with a top hat, and so that was one of the things that really struck me about how he defied his times by excelling, and really showing people that, hey, I'm a human being. Not only that, I'm a creative artist, and I present something that is excellent. And here's my jazz, and that was Stuff Smith. Another person I really like is Terrence Blanchard.
Okay.
Even from Mo Better Blues, I think he collaborated in part in that movie with Branford Marsalis. But what Terrence Blanchard does with his film music, with his messages, is his music, playing the trumpet until it cries, and being one of the only black composers, I believe with the Grammy nominations and, those highest awards and non-stop creativity. I love Terrence Blanchard's message.
Okay, that sounds interesting. All over the United States and actually everywhere in the world, there's protests because of George Floyd's death based on racism. So has there been protests around where you live?
Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, 13 weeks ago, almost 14, I moved. My wife and I moved to Atlanta to change our careers, to elevate our careers. And I had 2 weeks that existed before the shutdown.
Okay.
And it was just what a time to move here. COVID hit, but then George Floyd was killed. And I saw that to watch that shift where they say, the virus was the pandemic, but now the virus is racism, which we must solve those issues once and for all. It's just unbelievably powerful. And then I moved to Atlanta. I live in Atlanta where Martin Luther King, was born, and where also, of course, a lot of the marches happened to fight for freedom, in around Atlanta and in the South. It was just amazing. I was so struck by it that I wanted to, especially when they were burning the the police stations, like all that kind of thing was going on.
Yes.
All those statements like that, and now, of course, currently removing different statues. But I wanted to really go out there to try to bring some healing to people, not to stop them for what they were doing, because I understand that message of the African proverb: if the village does not embrace the child, then the child will burn the village down to feel its warmth.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to stop it, but I did want to bring some healing and some calm, so that people could actually become figure out how to peacefully protest, and and no lives be lost or people be harmed. So I went out there and played the violin for like at least two protests so far, and also went out there and led some protests, some peaceful protests, marching myself. It's just quite an experience, I went out there and I was playing like songs like "Rise Up," by Andrew Day, and like "That Change Is Gonna Come," and it was just powerful to see that. I had one of the videos, I still haven't posted it yet. I got the crowd doing, and it's like this kid, and I got the crowd doing the Cupid Shuffle.
Really?
Yes, I haven't even posted it yet. And even the National Guard was standing behind me over there at Centennial Olympic Park, and they started moving a little bit also. And so it was just, and right next to where I was playing on that day, I forget the amount, but they put place crosses on the street, right at the center of the Atlanta protesting, and they're on the sidewalk, crosses of, victims of police brutality.
Wow. I mean, this is an issue that's like, it needs to stop now. Like, it's going on too many times where, people are just doing minor things like bumming for a cigarette, or, like, sometimes you might get, when you're exchanging money, you might get a counterfeit dollar, but that doesn't mean, it's not a reason to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are dying because I think it's out of fear. But if your job requires you to be this superhero, you're not supposed to fear somebody based on their color. You're supposed to do your job without any ego based on what you think somebody might be a threat because they're black or they're gay or this or that. You know what I mean? And too often it's happening. When does it stop? This has been going on the thing about it is, it's not just a momentary thing now. It's been going on for centuries. Like, we're in 2020. Like, it should be a totally different thing right now,
Yes, indeed. That's a very, and I really feel like the one of the things that helps me during this time to both spread a message, but also calm my spirit. I do that a lot on social media. I have a group page called Flavors of America. But a lot of my current postings, like right now, I just found out that Trayvon Martin's mom is going to can officially qualify to run for office.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I just read that, and I just read that Twitter and Square are making Juneteenth a permanent holiday for their company.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, I read that the Mr. Willie Simmons served $38 for a $9 robbery. 38 years. I'm sorry. And now there's a petition to get him released. That's
the thing, that the justice is not being served, because like let's say like somebody kills somebody and it's a white person killing a black person and they get 3 years, but somebody goes and steals something and they get 30, and it's not even proven. Sometimes it's just like, they see you and they think you fit the description, so you're the person. You know what I mean? And it's unfair. It's an unfair balance. The balance definitely needs a change.
Yes. And I agree with at first it took me a second to understand the Christopher Columbus statues, but I agree so much with bringing down those symbols that are not symbols of humanity, that are symbols that brought destruction of lives.
Yeah.
The Confederate statues and all those honored. We first moved down here, we went to the Stone Mountain, and they're on there. They're on that mountain, engraved kind of like Mount Rushmore, but they're, Robert E. Lee, they're Confederates.
Right.
And just the removal of those statues, I understand it, and it's just some interesting times that we live in. And so I wrote a song which is called "Hymn for Botham," which is written for Botham John, who is kind of like Breonna Taylor. He was sitting in his house when an officer basically entered and shot him.
Wow.
She said then. Of course, she had no body camera running. Okay, so I know today they just passed the Breonna Taylor law.
Yeah, I saw that also. I did see that.
Yes, the Breonna Taylor law is no entry. You cannot enter without making your knock. No knock warrants are out. You cannot enter without making your presence known. But in Botham John's case, right now, they're actually making a Botham John law that at least your camera has to be on at all times.
Right. That
because
makes sense.
Actually, Amber Dockers, we don't know for sure. She said there's a little bit of she said or hearsay because we don't have the camera footage from her body of the shooting. That's one thing that may have made a difference. We don't have the camera footage from the shooting. We had witness accounts and all this, so that little part of aspect of the evidence, and it was lost. So, but I wrote the song "Hymn for Botham" so that I could help support his family's foundation.
Okay.
I still am in talks with his family, even currently.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's great.
I protested with them when he was shot, and I also was the selected entertainment for their gala. And so it's very much dear to my heart. The fight against equality and how you treat each other.
That's true. Is there any way we could get you to play that song live, maybe?
Yes, I do. I have it ready for you today, and I definitely would love to play for you this song.
All right, thank you. So, everybody pay attention. Richmond Punch is going to play his violin live. have been tuned into Jazz on the JNotes with your host, Stephanie Jeannot, and today we have special guest violinist Richmond Punch, who just played an incredible live song, Hymn for Bolton. So what made you, how were you able to put all your emotions into writing this tune?
Oh, well, it's not easy. That song actually, I wanted to write it right after either during the trial. I wanted to write it right after the sentencing of Ember Geiger. I wanted to write it after the fundraiser that I did, but it took me even longer. It wasn't until this year that I put that 2020 that I put that song out. Okay. And it's just because I didn't take it lightly, and I've dealt and wrestled with the pain for that much time. That it took me a long time, but I just again, also in this case, I wanted people to not only feel it but move to it, and I felt like Botham's song. He sang a lot in church. He loved God so much. He loved music. Okay. They even say that his neighbor reports him listening to Tupac and enjoying Tupac. I wanted the music. I wanted people to be able to dance to it, not have a slow song, slow tempo, something that made them feel sad, but something that uplifted them. So Hymn for Bolton starts out in a slow intro, and then it finishes with the up-tempo. The whole up-tempo component that makes you want to put your shoes on, and bust the moves.
Okay, so are you like me? Like sometimes when you're writing, you start to tear?
Yes, very much so. I know when I finished that song, and I remember, especially the intro, when it all finally came together. And it was done. I cried before I sent it to his family, and to make them aware of it, and knowing that I'm putting something out there that is a true story, that is a result of something that needs to completely change, that needs to be overhauled.
Yeah, that's true. So I see you're doing a lot, and you're live constantly, and you have so many different CDs. So like, how can listeners get in contact with you if they want to, number one, use you for something, for an event or something, or number two, maybe they want to interview you or download your music? How can folks get in contact with you?
Sure. Well, the easiest way will be to visit the website richmondpunch.net, but also to add Violin Richmond on Instagram or Twitter, and by my name, Richmond Punch. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. But I just really want people to enjoy the music. richmondpunch.net/merch has t-shirts and music CDs, all kinds of things, and the music is on all platforms. And I had a tour that got modified during this time, but the tour is actually right now picking back up with the rescheduling. So July 3rd through 5th, I'll be in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Even though we have the COVID time, that'll be for sure no matter what. I will be in Austin, Texas, July 3rd to the 5th. August 28th, this is a neat one, and I know you would appreciate this. The march that Al Sharpton announced, August 28th, is the March on Washington. Okay. I will be in D.C. from the 28th to the 31st, and I mean, whether I have a gig or whether I'm just like jamming out there with protesters, with people that are passionate about justice. I will be there August 28th to the 31st, and the other one is September the 3rd to the 5th. I'll be back in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, that sounds great. So I'm glad that you have your 2020, because a lot of gigs got canceled, but I'm glad that you were able to retain some of them,
Yes, indeed.
So I want to thank you for being on today's show and letting us ask you questions, and you being very candid and responding, and also playing live. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your show, for you to have me. Thank you so much for having a voice for all these musicians and jazzers everywhere.
Thank you. So is there any tune that you would like to play, maybe another song to take us out of the show today?
Yes. Actually, I would like to play. Did you say you really appreciated the song Sorry?
Yes, I like that song a lot.
Okay, awesome. And I'm gonna perform for you right now the song "Sorry." It wasn't written as an apology. At the time, I was making an apology statement to my wife, who I love, and I wrote the song as an apology to her. Because sometimes you can't sometimes words are just not enough to say those messages. So "Sorry" was that, and once again, I wanted people to be able to not only feel it, but move.
All right, listeners, put on your dancing shoes and let's get moving to the sounds of Richmond Punch playing his tune, Sorry.
English Connection Media.
I want to thank all of you listeners for tuning into today's episode of Jazz on the JNote, and also give a special thanks to violinist Richmond Punch, who took the time to answer questions and talk about his life, his music, and his role as an influencer, because he is a musician who is out there creating content that speaks volumes about our current situation. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please feel free to send me an email to jazzonthejnote@yahoo.com. And as we close out today's show, I want to not only thank you for listening, but also send love and virtual hugs out to you guys. I hope that you're in a good place and that your heart is happy and that you feel content and influenced by simply being in the moment. And we're going to close out today's show with Max Roach's Freedom Day in celebration of this week's coming Juneteenth celebration. I hope that you enjoy the week and have a wonderfully blessed one. Peace.
Whisper, listen, whisper, say we're free. Rumors flying, must be lying, can it really be? Can a slave no longer. This is Freedom Day. Freedom Day, it's Freedom Day. Throw those shackling chains.